Hey everybody, my name is Josh Pyke. I'm the author of this book, Lights Out Leonard, beautifully illustrated by this guy here.
Hey, I'm Chris Nixon, and I'm the illustrator for Lights Out Leonard.
And we are going to read the book to you right now. This is an interactive experience. I'm in Sydney. Chris is over in WA, Western Australia. All right, here we go. So this is a book called Lights Out Leonard. Leonard was not afraid of the dark. That would be silly. No, Leonard was afraid of the things that hid in the dark. When it was time to go to sleep, Leonard's mum kissed him goodnight. "Lights out, Leonard," she said. But Leonard cried, "No!" What do you think's going to happen, Chris?
I don't think he wants to go to bed.
There's a 3-headed, 8-armed, 12-legged, hairy, scary-faced creature in the corner. Please leave the lights on. 5 minutes, Leonard, his mum sighed. Leonard could hear her footsteps creak down the hallway to the TV room and imagined her snuggling on the couch with Dad. What are you drawing there, Chris?
I'm drawing a 3-headed monster.
Awesome. And do you reckon these monsters are real, or do you reckon they exist in Leonard's mind? We're never quite sure, are we?
Yeah, we're not sure. I think that's the way we try to build the book together, is you never know.
Keep him guessing. Soon, his dad came quietly into the room. "Lights out, Leonard," he said gently, seeing Leonard's eyes already half closed. But Leonard cried, "No! There's a 5-nosed, 7-tailed, 11-handed, scaly, whaley monster in the corner. Please leave the lights on." 5 minutes, his dad sighed, and he headed back down the hallway to the kitchen, where Leonard imagined him putting the kettle on the stove for a cup of tea. Whoa, that is a scary-looking monster. It's kind of like a little bit like an octopus. It's a little bit like a hat.
I'm trying to get those scales in.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
Soon, both his parents crept back into the room to check on Leonard and saw him lying on his back like a starfish with his eyes closed. Look, there he is. He's sound asleep by the looks of it. "Lights out, Leonard," his mum whispered, reaching over to switch off the light. But Leonard cried, "No! There's a shadowy, bat-winged, 2-fanged, darty, farty, smelly-bellied flying beast in the corner. Please leave the lights on." Look at all these beautifully illustrated monsters in the corner here. I can see one being created right now in real time. There he is.
This is the old Darty Farty.
That's the darty farty. Creepy. And look, there's Leonard with his mum and dad peeking over his shoulder. His mum and dad both sighed. They were tired. And any parents out there watching, you guys all know the feeling of trying to get your kid to bed. And all your kids out there watching, you know the feeling of being trying to put to bed as well. Sometimes you just don't want to go. So that night, the lights in Leonard's room stayed on. The next night was the same. And the next. Look, it looks like Leonard's having a party there. And there's Leonard's house being drawn by Chris. In fact, all that week, the lights stayed on in Leonard's room. Leonard saw beasts. He saw shadowy creatures and slithery monsters. And every time his mum or dad kissed him goodnight and said those 3 words, "Lights out, Leonard," Leonard cried, "No!" One day, Leonard found a book on his bed that he'd never seen before. The title was quite mysterious. Inside was a list of things that would terrify any beast, and at the back of the book was a page that could be torn out and used as a sign. And look, Chris is drawing the sign now. "How to frighten monsters." I guess that gives a pretty good clue of what's going to be in this book. Look at that. He opened the book up and read. All right, so these are all the things that you kids at home can do and you parents can encourage your kids to do that will help the monsters stay away at night. They're great tips. Number 1, minty breath. This makes monsters feel so sick they shrivel up and disintegrate into a pile of dust. Number 2, tidy bedrooms. There's nowhere for monsters to hide in a tidy bedroom, so they panic and then promptly explode. Number 3, teddy bears or other cuddlies. The traditional enemies of all monsters. If monsters come within 5 paces of a cuddly, they will be ejected straight through the ceiling and onto the moon. Can you see what Chris is drawing over there, guys? There's a monster exploding out and up onto the moon. There's some cuddlies, and there's a set of teeth being brushed beautifully by the kid. Number 4, gentle music. Monsters cannot stand it. It makes them go flat like pancakes, and their ears dry up like old Play-Doh. And number 5, and this is my favorite one as a parent, and I'm sure it's a favorite for you, Chris, as a dad, kisses from parents. The spit from parents has special magical powers, creating a protective force field around a child. If a monster comes too close, it is immediately zapped like a bug and sucked into a vortex, never to be seen again. That's good to know.
It sure works.
So that night, Leonard stuck the sign on his bedroom door, and there is the sign. Beware the child.
Beware of the child.
Look at that. And he got ready for bed. And as you can see here, Chris has beautifully illustrated all these different things that kids can do to stay away from the scary monsters. You want to draw another scary monster that the kids are trying to stay away from?
Yeah, let's go a new one.
Cool.
I'm going to draw like a big eye in the middle. Lots of spikes around.
So this is awesome, kids at home. You guys should try and draw a monster yourselves. It can be anything at all. Anything that you think is creepy and weird. Look at that.
And it's so easy. You just draw a central shape, just draw something, and then just create from there. So I just drew an eyeball and then give him lots of scaly, whaley legs. That's easy.
Love it. I'm going to try that later on too. So finally, he climbed under his covers. Lights out, Leonard, his mum said softly. But Leonard cried, "No, you forgot something." So his mum gave Leonard a huge wet kiss on the cheek and then tiptoed out of the room. And that night, the lights in Leonard's room stayed off. So there you go, guys. That's how you defeat the dreaded monsters in your quest to go to bed. So Chris and I hope you enjoyed hearing the book and seeing Chris draw it in real time. Look, there's Leonard being drawn now. He's waving goodbye. Chris was actually kind enough to draw a picture of Leonard that I could get tattooed on my arm. That's how much I love this little guy. So thanks again from us. I'm Josh Pyke.
I am Chris Nixon.
And we created this book, Lights Out Leonard. We hope you enjoy it, and I hope you're all staying safe out there, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.